This piece of equipment is called the Cadillac or trapeze table. And basically it's a nice surface just to do mat work or rehabilitation exercises. But you might notice the springs attached and different bars, and there are all different kinds of exercises you can do using the spring tension and the trapeze apparatus. So an exercise that might be kind of challenging to do if someone is recovering from an injury without any spring tension is made much easier by adding the spring to the person's leg. So we can do all kinds of movements, and we'll see that throughout different posts with the leg springs, circles, presses, hamstring work. Go ahead and just do a straight leg press, so stretch the leg up, and then press down, and up. Good. And then the leg springs can also be used for arm work as well. We'll go ahead and take this off. And then just slide down a little bit further away. And again, it's just a different way to add resistance. It trains proprioceptors in the arms, or in any of the joints, which are the receptors that kind of tell your body and your joints where you are in space. So it really challenges it more than just straight weightlifting or body weight exercises. The springs have an inherent instability incorporated into them, and so your body has to work to stabilize the joints as you're moving the springs. The springs are also nice because they kind of mimic your muscles. They contract and relax as your muscles do as well. This first one that we'll show is hanging down. You're going to hold on to the bars and then place one foot and then the other foot up here. Good. And then just go ahead and let your hips hang down into a V. Yep, eyes looking towards your feet, and hook your feet around so that they don't slide off. So here she's getting a nice bit of traction in her spine. We can ask her to connect through the shoulders even more. That was beautiful, really good. And then you can start to lift your hips up, going into a big extension. Arms stay straight, going into a nice back bend. It's really nice tractioning for the spine and for the neck. And then come into a straight line with your body, and then do some pull-ups here. So some reverse pull-ups, which is a great strengthening exercise. And it's actually really doable for a lot of body types and fitness levels, even though it looks really, really challenging. And then go ahead and come back down. Good, and then step one leg down. And so go ahead and turn around. And then take one leg back onto the lower strap. And then engage through your arms, so find your shoulder blades again. Good. Press down into this leg and then hop the other foot back into the strap. Great. Engage the abdominals. Beautiful. Eyes look up just a little bit, and then you're going to do a little dip here, so you're going to let the arms release a little, and then pull yourself right back up. Really good. So we're getting more hip extension, more spinal extension too, and then clearly it's a really great strengthening exercise as well. Good. Stay there and straighten your legs even a little bit more. Beautiful. And then go ahead. Yes, that's it. Very nice. And then go ahead and step down. Great. There are quite a few exercises that you can do with the roll down bar. Again, it's a nice way to support and facilitate movement and allow people to do an exercise that might be challenging without the spring tension, or it can also make the exercise a little bit more challenging depending on how we use the springs. So go ahead and put your hands on the bar. Good, and we're going to do an exercise called the roll down. The spine is going to be curling, so go ahead and look down a little bit towards your belly, but lengthening up through the waist. And then she's just going to start to roll down, placing one piece of her spine down onto the mat at a time. It's a really great way to open up, find articulation through each of those vertebrae in her spine. Go ahead and curl back up again. Good. Let the shoulders release down a little bit. Excellent. And then we'll do one more time coming down. So here we can also talk about the integration of the arms into the torso. So we can start doing some straight arm pulls, just pulling that bar down towards the pelvis. Good. Talking about the connection to the posterior compartment of the shoulders. Very nice. Creating an openness through the chest and more strength through the back of the shoulder girdle, which can be a little bit weak in some people. We can also add an arm bend, pulling that bar to you. Good. And then even take the elbows a little bit wider out to the sides. Excellent. And that spring is constantly pulling on her arm, so she's having to use those little smaller stabilizing muscles in the shoulder joint to maintain the connection of the arm bone into the socket. Good, and then as she straightens her arms again, she's going to keep that connection to the shoulders, so go ahead and keep the arms straight but the shoulders connected, beautiful, and then start to curl up again, curling chin towards the chest, curling the spine to come all the way up. Very nice, and that's just one example of an exercise that we can do with the roll down bar. This is called the push through bar, and once again there are several different exercises that we can do with this bar. But what I'm going to have you do, Marcy, is go ahead and take a seat and have your feet out in front of you once again up against the poles. And this exercise is called push through. So we're going to take the hands on the bar, thumbs wrapping around, so go ahead and wrap them that way, good. And she's going to start by curling back again. So again, we're looking at spinal articulation, getting the spine to bend equally in as many directions as possible. Starting to dive down. This is also a great place to stretch the hamstrings and stretch the entire back and spine. Once again, we can have her connect her arms into her body a little bit more. Beautiful, really great. And then keep the connection with the straight elbows as you start to curl back, still rolling through your spine. And then this time we'll go into more of a flat back, opening up the chest here. This is great for people with tight pecs and shoulders. Pull your head back in between your arms just a little bit, good. And we can really work on stretching the spine and lengthening the back here. Good. And then we can take this into a twist. Take your right arm off and cross it over to the bar. We can work on spinal rotation here while continuing to lengthen the hamstrings and elongate the spine. This usually feels pretty good.
This feels awesome.
Good, and then you can do the other side if you'd like.
I'll just stay here for a while. Just to make it even.
Exactly. Always lengthening and decompressing so we're not putting any extra pressure on the joints of the extremities or especially of the spine. There you go. And that's the push-through bar.